Good morning, everyone. I am getting ready to paint 5 babies. And this doesn't mean I'm painting 5 babies fast, 5 babies in a day, 5 babies in a week. It just means I like to work on 5 at a time. That's just the way I do it. I'm a little bit crazy, so don't do what I do. Do your thing. You do you. This is just how I do it, just because I tend to be, I don't know, I get bored easily, and I like process. I like kind of streamlining process. I think that if you're a hobby artist and you're just making babies for fun, for enjoyment, because they are fun to make, and you're doing one at a time and you're taking your time, I think that is awesome. For me, I make a lot of babies because I sell a lot of babies, and I don't get a lot of art time because I am also doing freelance artwork, and I am a mom, and I still have a 6-year-old at home. So my art time is super precious to me, and I try to make the most out of it, and I try to keep it exciting. So I have 5 babies. I have 4 right here. I have Brooklyn in the oven. I'm priming my vinyl, which means, and I don't do it the same every time, and I don't always prime vinyl. I'm doing it this time because I had some shiny hands and feet, and I decided if I'm going to do one, might as well do them all. So I used just some thinning medium. I usually tint it, but I didn't have time to, so I just gave everybody a clear coat of thinning medium. Thinning medium does not always work on all babies on all vinyl, and a lot of people don't like the way paint looks on top of it, especially if you're painting hair. It gives it kind of a little bit of a rough texture. It gives it a little tooth for paint to stick to. You don't have to do this. I think my first 50 babies, I never primed a baby, and they turned out just fine. Again, I like to do it if I have some shiny hands and feet, just because sometimes paint has a hard time sticking to that, and I just don't want to do hands and feet, so I just do the whole baby. So these babies are primed, and let me tell you who we have here. Like I said, Brooklyn's in the oven. This is Kimberly. I am not the biggest fan of this face. She's not ugly. I have nothing against it, but I don't know. This isn't the kind of baby face that makes me go, wow, I really want to paint that baby. But I have her, so I'm going to paint her, and people always like her, so it's just a me thing. Everybody has their preference for what they like. The kind of face that I like, that makes my ovaries just go, is this, like Mick and this baby. It's Bryson. I love this baby, and I love Mick, little Mick. I don't know what it is about this face, but this is the kind of face that just makes me get all giggly. I have no idea what it is. Love, love, love this face. And everybody knows who this is. This is Darren. He's a realborn from Bountiful Baby. This is an adorable face. A lot of Bountiful Babies, realborn babies, I think are made from family members, so there's a lot of resemblance in the sculpts. And I would be willing to bet this is a Pratt baby. But oh my gosh, look at that lip. That is a super cute baby. Sometimes babies just are adorable. And this, I believe, this is Bean. And this is not a realborn. This was sculpted, I believe, by Denise Pratt. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, comment down there and put me in my place. This does look like a Denise Pratt sculpt. She has a way of doing lips and eyes that I can usually recognize. I have 2 of these sculpts, got them on sale a while back. I was going to make fairy babies out of them because I think this is the perfect Elfie fairy face. I found this sculpt in there, and I said, you know what, I'm just gonna paint that for fun. And then again, I have Brooklyn in the oven, and that's another realborn Bountiful Baby sculpt that I absolutely love the face on. She is so, so, so cute, and you'll see her when she comes out. I thought I would just get started while she's baking. Again, this is why I like to do 5. These 2 are still warm from baking. These already baked. By the time I get started shading this baby, putting this one in the oven, I'll be working on this one, and one will be cooling, and it's just kind of a thing I do. For a lot of people, it's confusing because they don't want to miss steps, and they want to enjoy the process and not feel like they're working in a factory. So I'm not going to do Darren right now because he's still too warm, and Bryson is still too warm, and Bryson has some peachy skin. I was going to neutralize him with some white paint. I may give him a wash of very pale baby skin, but that's about it. I'm going to just experiment with him. I love that face. Oh, it's so cute. And these little sticky out ears. Oh, can't get enough of that. But let's start with this baby here. And I'm going to be working with a different palette. I've said before that I don't use the same palette every time I paint a baby. If I run out of a color, I mix a new color, and that one's forgotten. I just don't want to get bored, and I want to play around and see what I like. So I'm going to use 2 different yellows. I'm going to wash with a bright yellow, and I am going to stain with this darker yellow. And I'm going to use a little bit of thinned out red. This red is, I thinned out with thinning medium, but it's still super, super deep. So I need to thin that out a little bit more. Here's a pretty pink that I just made. It's probably a little bit too bright. I usually like it a little bit darker, a little bit muddier, but I want to play with this pink. Here's the vintage pink I usually use. You can tell there's a subtle difference, but I want to try blushing with this pink and see how it works out. I'm going to shade with this blue that I made. It's Wisteria. I would give you a recipe, but I don't have one. I don't even save them for myself. If I really, really, really like that color and I want it again, I'll mix it and I'll just save a little on the cap, and then I'll try to match it the best I can, but I rarely, rarely do that. And this is just the thinning medium. I'm going to keep it here because I'm going to need to thin out some of those colors. And so what I'm going to do, again, this is very beginner stuff. I'm not going to do any advanced stuff. I'm just going to play and chat, and let's paint together and do these 5 babies, and hopefully I don't bore the hell out of you. But I just think it's fun. I like watching people paint. It's a weird thing. If you're one of those people, you know, you get it. It's just sort of relaxing. When I was little, there used to be, do you remember Bob Ross? If you're young, you probably don't. Actually, he's sort of become super like culty, trendy lately. But when I was a kid, he was always on like PBS. And I never watched him. I didn't like him. I thought he sounded creepy. I didn't like the way his voice sounded when I was a little kid. I was a little kid, you know. I liked Mr. Rogers and Sesame Street and the New Zoo Review and Zoom. I was a little kid. I didn't want to watch somebody's dad painting. I don't like that style of painting either. But I've revisited some of those with my daughter just for fun, because she had this Bob Ross painting party. And I thought, you know what, this guy is super, super cool. And he's just like keeping you entertained while he's painting, just kind of chatting and talking to himself. And he's so relaxing. I can't imagine I'm relaxing, but ooh, that blue is super, super bright. Yikeroos, I hope I did not ruin this. The thing I love about doing this live and in the moment is that I make a lot of mistakes. Everybody does. To quote Bob Ross, they're not mistakes, they're happy little accidents. And for me, they're just opportunities. Sometimes those mistakes turn into something when you go, ooh, hey, let's try that again. But yeah, and I'm gonna, you know, I'm not gonna cut them, I'm not gonna edit them. I want to share them. It's funny sometimes too. I don't mind laughing at myself. Lord knows, if you can't laugh at yourself, you are screwed. Humans are funny creatures, man. We're all over the place, right? I mean, am I right about that? Do you know anybody who's not hilarious when they do something silly? I'm not one of those people who laughs when somebody falls down. I don't like those like videos where, you know, the Christmas tree falls on grandma's head, or little kid falls into his birthday cake, or everybody's drunk at a party and the table breaks and everybody falls down. My youngest son loves those videos so much. I was never like a Three Stooges kid. I don't like pranks. I don't like pratfalls. I don't like physical comedy. I don't know. It just makes me sad. I keep thinking, oh my gosh, they really got hurt. Oh my gosh, you know, and as far as pranks, I hate pranks. I hate them because they're one-sided. They're meant to make everybody laugh except for the person that it's happening to. And when I was a little kid, a friend of mine at school played a prank on me. She thought it was funny. In her mind, it was just silliness. She was a kid. She just thought that that would be really silly. And there was a boy I had a mad crush on at school. I had like this, you know, those crushes you get when you're that age. They're like, you're almost like a little stalker. It's like your stalker in training, you know. You just, every time they walk down the hall, you just like, oh my God, there he is. Or, you know, well, I did. I purposefully would make sure that when I got to the lunchroom, that I would sit as close to the table where I knew that him and his friends sat. So it just looked like I was just happened to be there. What a coincidence. I know, isn't it creepy? What a weird little kid. Anyway, and you know, at lunchtime and breaks and stuff, we would all wander around trying to look cute, put on our Dr. Pepper lip smackers and walk around and act like we weren't, like we were just wandering without any real purpose. And we weren't. We were like scouting out the boys, trying to find out what they were doing. And, you know, and the funny thing was that, you know, we had mad crushes on these boys, but we would act like, oh my God, there you are. Oh, you know, I don't get it. Yeah, we would just be like, oh, you know, we're walking and there you are. And we could care less. When we were inside, we were just going, oh my God, there they are, there they are. I had this crush on this boy named Perry. I would write his name on the inside of my peachy folder. Oh, that silly stuff. I got a phone call at my house saying, this is him. This is Perry. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. It sounded like him. From what I could tell, I only heard him talking across the table at the lunchroom. And he said, you know, your friend's cousin is a friend of mine, and I asked for your phone number, and they gave it to me. Is that okay? And I said, yeah, of course. And we just had this sweet little chat. It was so much fun. And he didn't say like, I like you or I want to be your boyfriend or anything. He was just being like super nice. Like, I'm interested in you, obviously. God, I could not sleep that night. I almost threw up. I was so excited. He likes me. He likes me. And he said, meet me at the bus. I'll walk you to class. And I was like, oh my God, this is like a dream come true. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. How is this happening? And I called up my three friends, like, oh my God, can you believe this? And they're like, oh, that's so great, that's so great. Well, I didn't know that whole time that they already knew. And when I got to the bus the next day, oh my gosh, I didn't sleep all night long. I changed my outfit 25 times. I got to the bus and all three of them were standing there going, we were just joking. That was Diane's cousin that called you. We just thought it would be funny. Don't you think it's funny? And I walked away and I went to the bathroom. I cried for about 15 minutes, went to the office, said I had cramps and I needed to go home. And my friends, like, they just kind of like stayed away from me. They kind of knew that they blew it. And I was so hurt. And this is how badly that hurt that hurt me so much that I stopped being friends with them. I was never friends with them again. And these were friends that I had known since elementary school. I just stopped talking to them. I didn't, you know, there was no confrontation. You know, looking back, I think they were just kids and they thought it would be funny. But again, a prank is only funny to the people pranking. The person being pranked, unless they have a super good sense of humor. And don't tell a junior high school girl to laugh at something like that, because that's pretty painful. I mean, I like good surprises, like, you know, stuff that's gonna make you happy. Like, let's say, I don't know, we gave a friend of ours a surprise birthday party. And she had mentioned before, I've never had a surprise birthday party. And she wasn't like she was trying to hit us up for one. We were all just talking about giving somebody else a surprise party. And she said, I love this. I've never had one. I just think it's so great. And one of us remembered.